Us Patriots said we do a little live stream, and true to form, here I am. You join me here at another service station, another secret location on Ireland's motorways as I travel the length and breadth of the country. Who knows what, who knows where. 11 in the house, us Patriots, looking for a live chat, looking for no way. 5x5 premium. Copy that. Good to see you. Okay, getting some drops here as we speak. TC, good to see you. Chopper Reed, hey, 5x5. I'm sorry if I'm interrupting anybody else's live stream. Good to see you, Sean. Thank you for the kind words. Evening. Good evening. 5x5 from Brenda, 5x5 for Raj. As the house fills up. Hey, Cynthia, good to see you. Sup there, Leo Bear. Don't forget, hit the Rogans up. Thumbs up for the Gran Torino. Some exciting news maybe we can share on this stream as we have 87 in the house. Oh my God. Okay, I'll get to the, as I speak, more and more messages come through. Good to see everybody in the house. 96 in the house. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me here on my live stream tonight. Hopefully the sound is okay. I'm plugged directly in. If you're following me on Instagram, you'll know I'm out and about from Dublin to Wexford to who knows where. Busy all the time, taking names, as they say. Okay, 112 in the house. Delighted that you could join me. So I said I'd stream earlier on, and I was thinking, Chinwag, what would we discuss about? But then Orlard does a release there about an hour ago on the Marion Finucane show, and we had three. Sounds great. Copy that 5x5. We had three of the usual Vox Pop heads chiming in with the. Thank you very much, Mark. Really appreciate that. Chiming in with the usual nonsense because they just won't say it. They just won't call it as it is in regards to Lisa Smith. And who am I? But just a simple YouTube creator with an opinion. And I thought I'd chime in, and I chime in with the same sentences as Lieutenant Colonel Michael Murphy in a couple of articles that I read. And the right to bring Lisa Smith back. Well, let me say, she was aware that her husband, Sajid Aslam, who was previously married in Northern Ireland, and whose wife served 3.5 years for not informing the authorities of her husband's need and urge to join the caliphate, to go and join ISIS. Copy that, Irish Freedom. So she served 3.5 years. So Lisa Smith would have been well aware of that. Now she went out of her way to go and find someone who could facilitate her journey. As she said, she was easily led. She just followed the crowd in some of her statements. So the three useful clowns on the drunk Marion Finucane, whose 800k a year wages, we have to listen to her drunken slurs most nights, most days. More's the pity. But one of the grinding words, as Orlard painted on his title, that we should not conflate ISIS with Islam. I mean, how dumb do you think we all are? I mean, if you go around screaming Allahu Akbar, if you follow the perfect example of the perfect Muslim, and you decry and decree and you shout everything and scream everything, that you are following the path of the perfect example, then you are everything and doing what the good book tells you to do. Little bit of skipping, but stick with me, spin the plates. We have to be careful of the algorithms and stuff. So we're not giving ourselves an easy strike. So if you're following the perfect example, then you are following the tenets of the good book. And if you're a a strict adherent of the good book, you'll know that by not having a moustache but a full beard, you'll know that's an indicator of your understanding of how the good book operates and what that means, what the Kafur means, how to employ takia, how that you must go and serve in the house of Dalwar, the house of war. Those of you who are uninformed of that, it means any land not conquered by Islam is the house of war. So for her to go away and say that she was easily led and she just followed the crowd blatantly, I'd love to know what crowd or what tour bus she got over there in the first place to get to Syria, to get to the caliphate. Because she was a corporal, so she would have done a leadership, having done them myself, she would have done a leadership assessment course for promotion twice to be a full corporal. She would have done a promotion course, shall we say. So she would have had to have had leadership qualities. She would have had to display calm under pressure. She would have to display and carry out orders as issued to the T without question and just get the job done. To become a full screw, you don't get that from being time served. You have to show competence and eligibility. So that strikes that nonsense that she's easily led and that this was just a flight of fancy and that she followed this dark path and all of a sudden she ends up in the caliphate. She said she'd willingly come back and that she would have nothing to hide about her time abroad with her husband, who we just take the Yazidi girls for example. It's one of the most horrific, well-known, among many others, barbarous acts that ISIS have carried out, who are, let's be frank, let's be John, let's be Jimmy, but let's not be a lawyer, scattered throughout Europe, even here. We know they're in the mountains training and using these trainings, but that's soon glossed over. When I mentioned to the Minister for Immigration, David Stanton, and I asked him the questions in Lismore, could he confirm or deny the presence of ISIS in any deep direct provision centre? Repeatedly, that question was answered, or that question was never answered. As a member of the public, I had every right to ask that question, but still, on reflection, we know they're here. It's being reported in the newspapers, in the media. 214 in the house. Thank you for that. Smash the likes up, smash the toes up, the Rogans up. As part of joining the caliphate, if you've gone down any rabbit holes and done your investigations, again, the good Lieutenant Colonel Michael Murphy also called it, if you go to the caliphate, you surrender your passport. There's even a ceremony. I've seen them many times. It's essentially a ceremony to renege on your national citizenship. Us Dublin bred appreciate that. Thank you for that. But I also want to remind you, don't spend your money here on Snapchats. I don't ask you for Snapchats. If you feel you want to make the urge, press the Rogans Up button first of all, if that's all you can do. Get over to the Gran Torino website, World Wide Web, Gran Torino. Stick your donations there from €1 to whatever you think you can afford. Don't give it to the useful left's machine here in YouTube. Forget the Snapchats. It's pointless. But you had to give up your citizenship. There was a whole ceremony and you had to become a citizen of the caliphate. Surely there's the overriding question that you have. You reneged your citizenship. You know, not only did you sign up to fight for a foreign force, as many Irish people have, but you don't give up your citizenship. You don't renege your rights of being an Irish nation. So for her to go over there and say that she had no idea, that she was fully understanding the investigation, we only have her word. We only have her word for that she didn't carry out any events. She said her husband away from her periods of times. When he couldn't become a doctor in the caliphate, he went on a sniper training course, and then was gone from her for different sets of periods of time. Really? So, in conclusion, I will align my thoughts, and having never met the man, I'm only reading in articles, I follow his. That we should not waste the taxpayers' money in bringing her home. She made her way over there under her own volition. She can make her own way back. That's a simple judgment. I mean, there's a clear-cut case for me. For me, you reneged your citizenship. You became a citizen of the caliphate. you were arrested as a prisoner of war. You'll have to face justice. You'll have to stand trial for your crimes. If you're released, and found not guilty over there under that jurisprudence during that legislation, as you did, let's take it from there. I'll not mention the child because it's not the child's fault. I have no control over that. But if you want to understand Lisa Smith's intentions about her nefarious actions, look to the child's name and what the child's name represents. Who is the child and what does it mean to Islam? That tells me everything I need to know. Go do your research on that. So look, I'll finish up on that shortly. Oh, I hate pressing. Bear with chat. Sorry about that, live chat. I'll finish up on that. That's my thought. She made her own way over. She can make her own way home. There's an old Irish song you might know about that. Couple of questions. Who's in the house? Hey, good to see you, Remy from the Netherlands. Us. Good to see you, Fanula. Again, I'm just speaking on my perspective on my own behalf. I'm pretty sure there's a majority of people out there that wouldn't be too far away from that point of view as well. But again, we don't have a platform to speak. We don't have an opportunity to espouse these points, or three Muppet guests on all in agreement. We must, protecting the obvious, the conflation. We must not conflate ISIS with Islam. Holy shit, that's like saying IRA wasn't Sinn Féin. Do me a favour. Yes. We'll be mindful and tactful of the questions. I agree with you there, Shane. California, copy that, Alex P. God bless you over there. Yeah, I can't pronounce your name, and I don't think this is the chat for you, but there are places you can go on Telegram if you want to go into the Grand Torino. There are many great anons in there. Seeing some great messages coming up through. So just chatting in with the live chat to see what you think on that particular stance from Lieutenant Colonel Michael Murphy. Yeah, a lot of good ex-military in here. She is effectively stateless now, Phoenix. But our dear leader, who was considered for the presidency of the EU Brussels, I think that was being touted. But we have him to thank. For Boris Johnson. Good, bad, or indifferent. Brexit is going to happen, and our dear leader is the cause of that for standing behind Europe's call for a hard border. Great leadership, Leo. Great leadership. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, it's an absolute fallacy. It's an absolute fallacy. The big fella. It's complete. But we don't have the airways. We don't have the narrative or somewhere to espouse and talk about the honest to God facts of what we can see and what we've determined and from what she's said herself. She's no fool. Also in the Marian Finucane section, there was talk of an article by the Prince of the Muslim Brotherhood, Halawi, who I maintain, if you go out there, the evidence is clear for all to see, that he was part of the Arab Spring uprising that was trying to overthrow a democratically elected government in Egypt. But we won't mention that because he's the favourite student of the Minister for Children, who regularly has him in and who's facilitating his Trinity scholarship, because he is getting preferential treatment because he's in the public glare. He's been set up for politics, people. Do not doubt for 1 minute that you're going to see Ibrahim Hawali in Irish politics. He is being groomed passionately. One can only hope, after the United States declares the Antifa a domestic terrorist organisation that can be expunged from the nation state, that the Muslim Brotherhood will also be designated as a terrorist organisation, and it too can be expunged from the nation state and repelled from our borders. Ooh, big fire gonna come my way, boy. But anyway, coming up on 15 minutes. I've got to get back on the road. Still a lot to do. Still working in behind the scenes. If you want to catch a glimpse of what I'm up to during the day, check in on my Instagram. I usually leave early morning posts. Apologies for the quietness the last couple of days. Had a spot of food poisoning. as I did say in my previous post on Instagram this morning, I was moving to a new Ursula Manor. A new Ursula Manor, not a shed. Oh. So that's good. Feeling on tippy top shape. So I'm back on the road, out and about. Encourage you, day 9 of the Google HQ strike. Anti-Corruption Ireland are down seeking the reinstatement of Gemma O'Doherty's YouTube channel. If you're of a mind, she's down there every day between the hours of 2 and 3, it seems. I was down there myself earlier on. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to hang around, things to do. But I noticed that there's Google employees, security staff on every door now. And quite a diverse security operation as well. Diverse security operation. Am I banned? Who says you're banned? Am I banned? If you're leaving a message, you're not banned. That's a crazy one. Anyway, get down there. If you're of a mind, get down there, pass, and understand that the deplatforming of Gemma O'Doherty is an egregious act because they are smearing her under hate speech legislation or hate speech terms of service, but they have not defined what the hate speech was. They won't share it. So let's follow the fruit of the poisonous tree, regardless whether you disagree with Gemma or Gemma's situation on things. She is a stalwart investigative journalist with years of experience in being a thorn in the government signs and exposing corruption within the government. Day 9 of the ACI protest. So do get down there and share, and get down to the weekend. Be down there the weekend. As I said, I was about, but unfortunately I wasn't able to stream because I had to boogie on. So if you support Gemma, come on Ireland. Yeah, hate speech means truth. If liberty means anything, let me go. Yeah, so her new channel is, not her new channel, the channel that you can find Gemma stream on, and I encourage you, if you haven't heard for it, is Anti-Corruption Ireland. Same as her political movement, Anti-Corruption Ireland. Search for that in the search bar here on YouTube and get over there and subscribe. If you're a former subscriber on any of her other 2 previous channels, that's the place there where Gemma will be guest appearing on the Anti-Corruption Ireland YouTube channel. And I don't believe I'm doing any wrong by announcing that. Yeah, so lots of movement going on and around the world. Epstein case is a huge one for everyone to be aware of, because it's been covered up and for so many years, but the cat is out of the bag. You will be aware that he was apparently assaulted, tried to commit suicide. The usual format, Arkansas-sided as it's best known, because he will have the dirt on so many people, so many politicians, so many wealthy billionaires, so many politicians. You just have to wonder how far does his web spread of entrapment for nefarious political movements, and will it be known of what agency that he works for? We cannot mention them, but they wear small hats. That's all you can say. I will use the language of the big bears. Yeah, a lot of work. Look, I'm not going to raffle on. All right, I enjoy our meeting tonight. I'm going to hit the road, get back on the road again. Join me again for future events. A lot of events planned, but still working on the base. Follow me on Instagram. You'll see Logos Rising. You will see. Just get over there and follow. And I will shout out a big shout out to Dublin's Bread, Christendom. Patriots, keep the faith going and we will win. Copy that. Where we go one, we go all. Okay, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Big shout out to Orlard, big shout out to the Dawn Critiqued, big shout out to Gemma O'Doherty's channels when they come back on. Big shout out to the Name Domain Computing Forever. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anybody on the Irish YouTube scene. A lot of young YouTubers coming up, still watching and appraising. I've been in contact, but keep up the good work, and you need to be careful of your rhetoric, shall we say, but you're on the right track. You know who I'm talking about. Okay, yeah, okay, gonna sign off with that. Don't forget, press the like button, press the subscription button and the bell, and you'll be reminded of future conversations on the roadshow. You join me here in the Grand Torino. Share this on your own social media platforms. Make your way over, if you can, if you will, to an article that got a certain university college Cork lecturer got his girth up about the misogyny in that article. Not once was it mentioned, but go over there and check it out. Also, if you're of a mind, check out the Gran Torino shop. Lots of goodies starting to fill up in there. Again, help to maintain the platform. Keep this medium on the road so we can get mobile throughout the country and show you the changing face of Ireland as it's not being shown on mainstream. Us.